Hello everyone, hope you're doing alright. Today I have for you the 6 tips that I learned by pugging my way to 3k IO in Mythic Plus. So let's get started. The first is that Mythic Plus is not hard, Mythic Plus is punishing. It's your job to do the little things right. What I mean by that is there's not a lot of mechanics in a Mythic Plus dungeon that is trying to confuse you or that demands really specific play. Most of the mechanics that will kill you are extremely simple. Interrupting ads, CCing when necessary, popping your defensive cooldowns for big bursts of damage, right? That's not extremely complex, but it is horrifyingly punishing at higher level keys. So, don't be intimidated to take a quick breather and slow down on your DPS to ensure that you're doing the little things right in order to clear the content. It's way more important to not die to something stupid than it is to pump damage and then be on the floor, right? So just do the little things right. Interrupt, CC, pop defensive cooldowns. It's not that hard. All right, number 2. You are going to deplete a lot of keys, so be very comfortable with failure and self-reflection. There are going to be days when you do not time a single dungeon and you just deplete. You're going to run into some of the players of all time, dungeon after dungeon after dungeon, and you have to have the right mental to think it's not the end of the world, it's fine. Look at what the funny, stupid thing that happened is, right? Having that mental is going to make things so much easier in the long run, and sometimes it's going to be your fault. You're going to do something super stupid. It's going to be really embarrassing. And it's your responsibility to look yourself in the eye and think, okay, how can I learn from what I did wrong in order to do it right next time? Because most of the times in these dungeons, there's no one really sitting you down and explaining these very fundamental mechanics. You kind of have to learn by doing. And most of the time you learn by failing. So when you do something stupid, after you get over the embarrassment of, tanking the key, whatever, look yourself in the eye and realize what you can do better next time so you can time the next key. You're going to clear so many more dungeons that way. All right, number 3. Settle for small bumps in your score. When you are queuing for someone else's dungeon, they only see your eye level, your Mythic Plus score, and if they have Raider.io, they will see the level of dungeon that you have cleared for their current key, right? Nothing else. They know no other information about you. They don't know how much of a god tier gamer that you are. So even if you think you're good to jump from a level 18 key to a level 23 for this one dungeon, it doesn't really matter because all you are to them is a number on the screen. It's not fair necessarily, but it's the only information that the person making the key has to go on. So you have to put in the homework of queuing for small jumps in those score and just being comfortable with getting 10, 15, sometimes even 5 points at a time instead of going for those massive jumps that are super tempting, right? Because you're going to sit in queue for hours and hours and hours and never get invites and then wonder why you're so frustrated with your current score. All right, tip number 4. Be the teammate that you want to see inside of your dungeons. We all know that there's so many toxic pricks in any multiplayer game, right? People that jump in, say nothing, flame the one guy who makes a mistake, and then quits the dungeon and tanks the key, right? That happens so often. You have the opportunity to be the teammate that's gassing your colleagues up, and it makes the group cohesion so much better when people are happy to be there, right? If you see someone popping off in the damage meters, be like, whoa, look at him go, he's gaming, right? Because we all want someone to do that to us. You have the opportunity to do that to other people. If people are tanking well, healing well, damaging well, throw it out there because there's so much negativity that a positive space inside of your group will make things so much easier. If you wipe, there's not going to be as high of a chance that people are just going to instantly leave, right? So be the teammate that you want to see. All right, number 5, pop your cooldowns. You get no prizes for dying with your defensive cooldowns available. Pop your defensive cooldowns, I beg of you. There is no boss or trash encounter in Mythic Plus that demands a defensive cooldown be available until you get to the extreme high-end keys, right? If you are going to die without popping a defensive cooldown in a trash pull, but you're worried about what comes next, don't. It's better to not die now than to have your defensive cooldowns and being on the floor, right? Super important. Secondly, pop your offensive cooldowns pretty much on cooldown for basically the same reason. There's not a lot of extremely hard checks in Mythic Plus until you get to the very high end, and it's more important to be pumping out as many of those offensive cooldowns as possible throughout the entire course of the dungeon, because obviously the whole thing needs to die eventually, right? So smash those offensive cooldowns over and over and over again. All right, finally, real quick, number 6, push your own key. If you are having trouble getting into a dungeon, push your own key. It gives you control over who's in the party, who's not getting carried through your party, how many lusts do you have, how many battle reses do you have, who do you want to be inside of this, instead of you registering for 5 dungeons at a time, getting denied, getting denied, getting denied. Push your own key. It gives you so much more control over your destiny than being hamstrung to someone else's. So hope this helps. I hope you guys have a fantastic day and good luck out there. Bye-bye.